Everybody ready? All right, camera speeding, and action. Ben.
Rob.
Ben Altman.
Yeah, indeed.
Have you met, is there a Ben Controlman and a Ben Deleteman?
You know, I haven't met one yet.
No?
I have not met one yet.
No.
There is a old famous department store in New York called B. Altman that was founded by Ben Altman. Still waiting to meet him.
Okay.
He died about 80 years ago, so I feel like chances are slim on that.
Well, you could visit his grave.
Yeah, who has that kind of time? I mean,
that is like that's a side quest for sure.
It's a schlep. Like, am I gonna fly to New York just to go to that? And if so, like, I mean, is there one graveyard for all of New York City? That would have to be massive. Like,
yeah, I'll tell you what. There's I mean, you've been to New York. I don't know how much exploring you've done, but there's a graveyard. Anybody who's been there will know what I'm talking about. Where it's visible from the highway. Can't remember the highway.
Yeah.
And they had to build like walls because it's so massive and that it's just kind of, it's like awe-inspiring and you can't stop looking at it. And people were like crashing their cars because they were busy looking at it and
that's crazy.
At the road.
That's crazy. Honestly, if he's not buried in Midtown, not interested.
I see. So, if we're going to a cemetery, it's got to be at least in a bougie area.
It's got to be Midtown. Like, listen, I'm gonna be staying around Midtown, so it's like if you're out of the way. Mm-hmm. But you know, if you're on the way to a subway station, that would really be ideal.
Yeah, because then you stop at the grave, and then you maybe get a coffee, and then you're on the train. You're going about your business.
Yeah, I was saying a hot dog. quick
hot dog.
Quick glizzy.
Quick glizzy.
Pay your respects with a glizzy, and then complain about how you have to pay $2.90 to get on the subway.
Have you been to Coney Island?
You know, I've been there once, and it was closed due to inclement weather. Is what the guy told me. Not a cloud in the sky.
Inclement weather.
Not a cloud in the sky.
That's a very New York thing to say.
Yeah.
Hey, it's closed. Inclement weather. Go that way. Go the other way.
Yeah, it was 70.
What was the inclement weather?
It was 75 degrees and clear.
Okay. Huh.
No wind.
The whole entirety of Coney Island was closed.
Yeah. Well,
what about the Nathans? That's where I was going with this.
See, here's the thing. I'm very much a Hebrew National guy myself.
Hebrew National.
I'm not really a.
Is Nathan's kosher?
I don't know.
Does that matter?
Not to me.
Okay.
But it's just it's the vibe of a Hebrew National, you know?
It's the vibe. I'm a Hebrew National guy myself.
Okay.
100%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love Hebrew National hot dogs.
Yeah.
My mother has always been a Hebrew National customer.
Oh, excellent. We love to hear it. Love to hear it.
So, Ben, what is your astrological sign? I must know.
I'm a Cancer.
You're a Cancer?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Oh, man. You know, I have very this is my experience with Cancers.
Mm-hmm.
They have come into my life and like contributed something lovely and then like flown away, goodbye. Like they just I guess they crawl away.
Yeah.
Are you like that?
Well, I'm actually counting down the days till I do that to you.
Yeah, it's imminent that you're skittering away and leaving my life forever is imminent.
We actually all get together. We kind of sync our calendars.
Yeah,
so that it all lines up. It's kind of like when one leaves, another one comes. Mm-hmm. That sort of thing. So the good news is you'll be getting another Cancer soon enough. Well, Devin will stick around because Devin and I are born on the same day.
Right.
So that's like we're both. It's funny. I was watching his interview and I was like, oh, what is his sign? And I was like, oh my God, right. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, because you're aware that your birthday is the same day.
Yeah. It could have been an educated guess that he would have also been a Cancer.
Yeah. You and Devin are like a very, very odd couple, but I can see, you can see that, you know, the friendship between the two of you is very genuine and it's kind of sweet, actually.
Yeah, I've definitely known him longer than anyone else in this industry for sure. We met like in college in film class. He was like the only other guy with like a jersey on. I think he was wearing like a Gronk jersey or something. And I was like, oh, I guess I'll sit next to this kid.
Okay, so you know that actually speeds me along to a question I have for you. Mm-hmm. I noticed yesterday you're watching soccer, and you're watching the Aces game at the same time, mm-hmm. and you work sports. We're working the USA men's basketball game.
Yeah.
How are you so like? What is it about sports that keeps you so interested?
Well, it's interesting that you asked that because I think actually I'm probably the least interested in sports of anybody that we work with.
Well, aside
at
from
Foley.
me, for sure.
Aside from you. Well, yeah, like, because I mean,
not that I'm not interested. I just have
no,
not been a lifelong sports fan,
yeah.
really.
I mean, like, I like sports. Don't get me wrong, but like, I feel like when you go to games every day, I feel like, here's the thing. I feel like you figure out which sports you love and which ones you hate really quickly when you go there every day.
Yeah.
Because there are certain sports where I'm just like, I get there and I'm just so over it. Like, I'm tuned out, I'm ready to go. And then pull up to the hockey rink and it's like, I'm buzzing. Like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to watch. Like if I'm at like the Golden Knights practice facility for some reason, I'll just go in and I'll chill and I'll like watch the beer league game for a couple minutes just to, see what's going on. If it's the summer, go in and cool down a little bit. But no, I think for me, I've started transitioning to like maybe less popular sports because I don't work them.
Okay.
Like my big three, I'd say right now, are surfing, soccer, and hockey.
I saw a viral clip of this woman surfer,
Mm.
and she's like almost like performing this dance on her surfboard. Like she like kind of gracefully walks to the tip of the surfboard as the waves crashing on the back of the surfboard. Then she kind of like
like kind
gracefully walks to the back of it. It's like how do you learn that?
Yeah, it's kind of like hang tens. When people say hang 10?
Yeah.
So hang 10, from what I understand, is like when you're riding a wave, you go to the surfboard, top of the board, and your 10 toes are hanging off the front of the board. So that's hanging 10.
Yeah.
And then you just walk back as if you're not on a massive pile of water that's trying to demolish you.
Yeah, yeah. Have you ever been surfing?
I have no idea how to surf.
Yeah.
I do want to. My cousins are like big, they surfed. They were in competitions all throughout like their child to teenage years. I have no idea how to do it. Hopefully one day, maybe one of those Hawaii trips, I'll figure it out.
I feel like surfing is like surfers are like the jocks of like the skateboarding world. Like if skaters are like nerds, then the surfers are like all surfers are always so fucking cool.
They're just always, and they're always. It's hard to be annoyed at them sometimes because they're just like so incredibly chill.
Yeah.
That it's like.
No, that is what's annoying.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, get upset.
Yeah,
be
it's like, come on,
be irritated.
Dude,
come down here with me.
My cousins that surf, they're just two of the nicest kids. My cousin Luke in particular.
Yeah.
Probably the nicest person I've ever met. Like I've never seen him look cross. Like even look cross.
Yeah. It's the water, man. It's calming, the calming, soothing waters.
Yeah. I mean, I really do believe there's something about the ocean that you just like. People that live their lives in the ocean are just happier. They're just happier people.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they are. Well, surfing, man. So you actually, speaking of surfing, you are a frequent visitor to the islands of the beautiful islands of Hawaii.
Yes.
So I'm surprised you being there. You haven't surfed, but you mentioned that you haven't, or you at least don't know how. What is it about? What is it about Hawaii? What draws you there?
Well, it's kind of a mixture of factors. First of all, until very recently, I will say the price has gone up a little bit. But until very recently, it was very easy to get from here to Hawaii. Pretty easy, pretty cheap. Like it used to be like $300 round trip or something. Like good deal.
Yeah.
Direct straight to Honolulu. I don't really like going to Honolulu that much. I usually go to Kauai, but straight there. Being born and raised here, a lot of, you're kind of not stewed in Hawaiian culture, but it's definitely like a big thing. Like Poly Club, Polynesian Club in high schools here is like massive.
Yeah.
There are actually, fun fact, there are more Hawaiians in Las Vegas than there are on Maui.
Well, Ninth Island, right? That's where that comes from.
Ninth Island, yeah. And especially, I mean, you could, like, for example, the Thrill when they had their Ninth Island night. By far, other than opening night, the most successful night they had.
Absolutely. Yes, and I remember.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like the way you grow up is similar in that you're kind of an extra in your own town. Like you kind of just, like I've always, ever since I was a kid, whenever I'm like out somewhere and like some stranger starts talking to you, it's like, oh, how are you enjoying your stay? Where are you from? Where are you staying? oh, that's nice. They have a good restaurant here. Like I would never like, as a kid, walk up, or I wouldn't walk up to strangers, but like if you were talking to strangers for some reason, you would never assume that they lived in the same city that you are from. Like it just wouldn't happen. And I feel like it's a similar thing in Hawaii, where it's just like the tourism industry is definitely the leader of everything.
Yeah.
You know, it's just the vibe. The people are so nice. The aloha spirit is really a real thing. Because I feel like the Hawaiian people have a pretty valid reason to not be thrilled about the American tourism that comes through.
Yeah.
And yet, for the most part, they're just the nicest people. And, you know, good food, and it's warm. Because if I'm leaving here, I'm going to an ocean that I can swim in. There's no use. I'm not someone that goes and lays on the beach and looks at the ocean. Like I can't do that. I'll go swim in the ocean, but if it's too cold,
right,
then what's
you're
the
not
point?
going to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is a major sort of geological disadvantage to living in the middle of the desert. There's no place to go swimming.
It does hurt a little bit. Yeah. You can always, if you really need some cheering up, you can go to the Mandalay Bay pool to get that wave pool. But, you know, somehow the wave pool, the ocean, there's a little bit of a disconnect there.
Yeah.
For sure. But, yeah, no, I love Hawaii is amazing. The people are somehow more amazing. Kauai in particular, the most beautiful place that I've ever seen. It's kind of like Rey in Star Wars, where she's like, I've never seen this much green in the whole world.
That was good, man.
That's what it's like when I go over. I'm like, man, they got regular trees and palm trees. What world is this?
Yeah. Different.
Yeah.
So when you're at work,
you
have a very magnetic quality. Like people love to pay attention to you, and I will often watch people watching you when you're there. Like, why is that?
Well, I'm kind of a big deal. No, no, I don't know. I mean, it's interesting because I feel like when I'm at work, like, you know, I want to be serious. Like, I feel like I take my job very seriously, but at the same time, it's like, you got to have fun, man. Like, you know, you're spending a lot of time with these people, and a lot of it's, I don't want to say downtime, but a lot of it's like, you know, you've checked your stuff and you're eating meals together and you're just kind of like hanging out, and you can either be in the corner, you know, rocking out, headphones on, whatever, which, you know, I wouldn't blame anyone for doing.
Yeah, some of us do. So I do that sometimes.
Yeah. And a lot of times I wish, you know, a lot of times I enjoy doing that. Like, I'm totally ready to, like, you know, just chill in the corner, relax. But, you know, you might as well make someone laugh if you're there, right? So that's how I approach it. Like, I'm just kind of chilling, and, you know, I would be lying if I said I didn't enjoy some attention at times. But yeah, dude, I'm just like, I'm there to work and have fun. Like,
speaking of that, do you throw for content?
Do I what?
Do you know what that means?
No.
Did you miss that free throw on purpose? Did you airball that free throw on purpose? Be honest.
Listen.
Don't lie to me.
Listen.
I'm looking you right in the eyes.
Listen.
Don't lie to me.
Was it tactics for an eventual
outcome
for myself and perhaps hustling someone down the road?
Mm-hmm.
Who's to say?
Oh, yeah.
I will also add, let me look in this camera. The FIBA cylinder. The FIBA cylinder is actually different dimensions than the NBA cylinder, so there are some differences there. And to be fair, it is a little different from playing basketball in the pool. But you know, who's to say? Who's to say, really?
We can't lift the mystique.
No. I can neither confirm nor deny. Is what I'm basically saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Understood.
I actually have a question for you, which I was thinking about on the way here. Not to flip this whole thing on its head. I'm actually just going to interview you for the rest of the time.
Sure. Okay. Go for it. What do you got?
Do you feel like working in sports, as long as you have, diminishes your joy for like going to a sporting event? Like for example, for reference, we just did recently USA basketball. And I mean, we're standing, you're on the side where USA's warming up and shooting in the first half. Like you have LeBron James, Steph Curry, Anthony Davis, like all of the biggest names, not arguably at all, the biggest names in basketball,
not arguably
warming up right in front of you and playing a I'd say probably like 85% of a full game.
Okay.
Like, do you then think like, man, I can't wait to spend like a couple $100 to go sit in like halfway up at some WNBA game?
Well, here's the mistake you've made, Ben, and
Okay.
that is assuming that I pay to go to sporting events. And
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I go to sporting events when I have the opportunity
Yeah.
to get tickets, unless we're talking Aces.
Okay.
I pay for Aces tickets. I'll go to an Aces game. I'm a legit fan of that team. I'm a hardcore fan of that team. I love watching them play. I love going to the games. I get just as much enjoyment out of going to the Aces, being there, working as I am as a fan. So there's that. But I mean, it depends, man. Like, do I go? Like, I just went to a boxing match recently. And now, am I there? Like, oh, I'd much rather be here with a camera, or be like, even working utility, like sitting ringside. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And if I see people that I know that are working it, I'm like, fuck, I want to get out there with them, like I want to join, get on the team,
Yeah.
But I could still enjoy most things, I'd say. Like I'd be geeked to go to a NFL football game. I'm sure I've never been to one.
Really? Never?
No, never. So I'd be geeked to go do that. And I think watching basketball live is one of the best. Like that's like kind of your like height of sports events, because it's really easy to watch. There's really no bad seats in the house.
Yeah.
When you're watching basketball, and there's hype moments happening constantly.
Yeah.
Whereas like watching hockey is like more of a slow build up to a big payoff, and other sports, have other things, but yeah, it changes how you watch, and it changes your experience for sure. I wouldn't say that it's ruined the joy of it, though. I could still have fun, I think. Yeah.
Okay. I will say you are by far the biggest Aces fan that I know. Like,
I love that for me.
My man is always repping. My man
me.
is always repping at all times.
I mean, I wish I could say day one, but at least since 2021, this was before they were champions. So,
yeah.
And I didn't know anything about the team until I started going to games. I knew nothing. I knew that they were here, and I was like, I would like to be. I'm a bit of a person who roots for the underdog.
Okay.
Ben. So when we got a WNBA team, I'm like, I would like to be a fan of this team. And then just time went by, and I never did it. And then finally, I've told the story a couple times. Like, just went to one game. Yep. And the entertainment of the show, and watching how hard the players work, to win, it's like, it's infectious, man. Like, what's not to love? Yeah,
totally. Yeah. Like I was kind of the same way in that, I never really watched women's basketball growing up. It's just not something that I saw on TV.
Yeah. Right.
And I legitimately don't think I saw an Aces game before I started working there. And the first game that I worked there, I just thought, man, this is really like amazing. Like the show that they put on, like that Matt and everybody put on, and us. I say everyone, like it's like you're
not there.
Yeah, like I'm not there. Which I'm not exactly an integral member of the daily routine there, but it's an amazing show. Like, it's, in terms of like fan engagement, it's really just like at the top. Like, there's only enough room to catch your breath before something else happens.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of like Mad Max Fury Road or something, where it's like it's go, go, go. And then it's like, it only gives you enough time to like kind of reorient yourself. And then bam, we're right back into it. And we're just going till the end.
Yeah.
And I love the team. It's just great. I mean, it's just a great vibe.
Yeah, it is. It's the shit. Love it. I have a brand new segment for you.
Something I couldn't prepare for. This will be fun and terrifying.
So this is called the Ben 10.
The Ben 10.
Yeah. I'm going to give you up to 10. You don't have to do 10. I'm going to give you up to 10 opportunities to tell a joke. You are famous, which you famously do, while we are working. Well, not while we're working, but at work.
Yeah.
And if you can either make me laugh or cringe, so we can go either way.
Yeah.
You win.
What do I win? Just the
You
satisfaction?
just win.
It's just a pride thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you win. You win. You want a tambourine? I got a tambourine back.
I actually am a musician, so I could use a tambourine. Yeah, you can join our band, bro. You can be the tambourine guy in our band.
I'll be the tambourine guy.
That'd be sick.
Yeah, I'm down.
I mean, it's not quite.
I actually play a sick tambourine.
I mean, I believe that. It's not quite as much clout as the cowbell guy.
All right,
but I feel like it's close because you have a lot more. You have more going on.
There's no Will Ferrell skit for a tambourine because if there were,
no, you'd be a millionaire.
Yeah. I'd be a millionaire. I'd be famous.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, this man. When I say he is the Jimi Hendrix of the tambourine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we just figured out that you didn't know that I play the tambourine until right now, but.
Oh, I was just kidding. Bam, let's go.
All right, we're counting that? Are we
Yeah.
counting that? I mean, we could go with that. We could go with that. That's such the most underwhelming segment of all time, but we could go with that. So all right. So this is something I'm curious about. Because I know that you are a camera operator. I know you're a replay operator.
Yeah.
I know you have a long history with UNLV,
Mm-hmm.
and so I kind of want to ask. Like, what is your history of video? I didn't know you went to film school. I knew you, Devin, went to school together. I didn't know it was film school.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, what was it that got you interested? What has your past been like in terms of video, and like, where do you see it going? Where would you like to see it go?
It's interesting. It all started, and I don't think I've told many people this. Not that I am keeping it secret. It's just I feel like my persona at work is different than me as a human.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, I'm not always that energetic.
Right.
But when I was a little kid, I was always worried about losing my memory. That was the big thing.
Really?
I didn't want to lose my memory. I didn't want to forget all this stuff. So I was and my mom liked taking pictures. She just enjoyed. She wasn't a photographer, but she just enjoyed taking photos and whatever. And we always had a decent camera. And I was like, oh, this could be fun. I was like, oh, looking at stuff. Oh, I remember that. I remember that outfit. I remember this, that. So then I started getting into photography a little bit. And then in high school, I went to a charter school where they have almost you almost declare your major in high school. And they have a couple different departments. And they had a film/broadcast department. And I was like, oh, well, I guess, that's the one. It was that or culinary because I like to cook too. But
okay.
But they decided to let me cook with the camera instead.
They did.
So
it seems that way, yeah.
Q sci.
Yeah.
And then that led into I was like, well, I guess I'll do film in college because I like film. I like making stuff. I made a lot of PSAs, joke,
joking, joke PSAs.
Sarcastic. Oh my
man,
god!
I'd love to see some of those.
Oh my god, I have them somewhere. We had to make a reel and stuff for our thing. Oh yeah, I had some of them were hard hitting. Some of them were so overly dramatic.
Yeah.
There was a "Don't be late to class" thing because it was all had to be for the high school news, right?
Yeah.
I made with my friends Brian and Landon, people from that era, a spy thriller that was "Don't be late to school." So it was I tried to recreate a Mission Impossible chase to try to get this kid to school on time and dives for the thing, and the punchline was if any part of you is in the classroom, you're on time.
You're on time.
So it's his fingertips are just past the thing when the bell rings. It's just I just had as much fun as I could with the premise.
Yeah.
Which I guess is a good metaphor for life, if you really think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I like that.
First of all, I would like to apologize for all these answers being a half hour long. Second of all, so then I got into film school and I met Devin, and we both met this guy Kenton, who was interesting dude. But one day he just accidentally wore his Vegas 51 credential into class.
Yeah.
And me being, I played baseball growing up, should be 10 or something, not anything crazy. But I went to a lot of 51s games because that's really all you had.
The 51s were like the thing, man.
Yeah,
like
dude.
People were really, really. I remember people being super disgruntled and upset when they changed that branding.
I know I was at the time. I
think the Aviators are well embraced at this point, but that was like a big change.
And I think that's what happens with any name change or whatever.
Yeah.
Obviously, everyone that liked it before was like,
right.
51s, sick, fun trivia question, gone. With the only team that's named after numbers that actually have the numbers and not like not spelled out.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, well,
that's a fun fact.
It's a very niche trivia question.
Yeah,
very. You really have to get a baseball nerd in here to.
What is the? I mean, I should really know this, but I have been told this, but I totally forget it. What is 51?
51, like Area 51.
Okay.
Yeah, so
which is in Arizona though. Is it a farm team for Arizona?
No,
it's not.
No, it was.
Wait, is it in? No, it is in Nevada.
It is in Nevada. It's in Nevada. I haven't been.
I'm just failing on all levels of Las Vegas local credibility.
That's. I'm not gonna lie. That's a tough one to come back from.
Yeah. It'll take years.
I haven't been there myself. I wasn't the ones who decided to storm Area 51 back in the day. That was not me.
No, that was not you. That was a man named.
Because it's a schlep, right? To get out there, it's like. I don't really know. And then the parking situation, I just feel like would be a nightmare.
What was the guy's name? He had such a ridiculous name.
I have no idea.
Well, that went nowhere.
Was it Rob? No.
That hurts.
No,
it's an old name.
Bob.
It's not a ridiculous name.
No, I have no idea.
Shit. Yeah, no. All right. Well.
Yeah. Anyway. R.I.P. that guy. Or if he's still alive.
R.I.P. that
maybe
guy.
not.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, maybe he might have disappeared.
Yeah, well, that man
he's alive somewhere being
that
tased.
Man didn't disappear. He just went home. But anyway, yeah. So then I got to college, and this guy had the 51s credential, and I was like, "Man, how'd you get that?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I work for the team. Shooting their games on video." I was like, "Really? They pay you to do that?" And I was like, "Man, that could be cool." I was like, "Wow." I was like, "They pay $60 whole a game? That's crazy."
Oh my god.
And I was like, "Wow." At that time, it was like. I don't remember what year of college it was, but like, I don't know.
Those games can be like 6 hours, bro.
Yeah, especially in that era, because I feel like they were the Mets farm team at that point, and I don't think the Mets were particularly good at that point. So it was just kind of like, that's the problem about AAA is you don't want to be. It's a lot like the Canadian Football League. It's like you don't want to be too good, because if your players are too good, then they're just going to get sent up.
Yeah.
But if they're terrible. Then they're just going to replace them.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a fine line between being good and being great. Because if you're great, you're gone. Especially with the Aviators now, with the A's.
Yeah.
It's very much a situation of, like, if you do well enough, the A's are calling you up. So, yeah, it's interesting. But anyway, I got my start with them, and then.
So you started with the Aviators. I always thought you started with UNLV.
Yeah,
you started with the Aviators.
No, with the 51s. Yeah,
with the 51s.
Yeah, with the 51s. I started with the 51s, and then which was briefly, and I only did camera. That was their last season, so I literally probably joined after their last season had already started. It was 2017 because I remember because it was the first run of the Golden Knights playoffs were during that season.
Yeah.
And then. I don't remember how I got hired at UNLV. I don't remember what process that was really. It's kind of all a blur, but I just remember walking in and going down. At that time, I hadn't been through the back alleys of arenas, which for the viewers that don't know, it's like a maze. Like you could be lost in there for hours. It's like seriously.
That's how I felt the first time I went to T-Mobile.
Yeah, it's all the same kind of thing because they're just kind of like building pathways that aren't taken up by seats. So it's just kind of like whatever. And I mean, the Thomas and Mack was built a long time ago. And it's like, I was actually just watching the Redeem Team documentary.
Yeah.
And that's, they practice at UNLV and whatever. So like, I'm just watching all this footage of my workplace where like Kobe and LeBron are going one-on-one. And like, I see Kobe walk past our production room, like with the door open.
Yeah.
And I'm like looking in there and I'm like, huh, who is that? Like, I'm like, do I know that person?
Yeah.
No, but so I walked in there, got hired, and then, kind of started from the bottom and worked my way up, and then word got out about this funny kid that does all right.
Yeah.
And I tricked people into hiring me other places, and here we are.
Well, I love that, man. That's a cool story. I love that you were a part of the 51s because that's like Vegas, like lexicon,
Yeah.
like people look back on that really fondly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those 4th of July games were great because it was like if you sat at the top, you could see the whole valley and all the fireworks going off. That was like our tradition whenever I was with my mom, because my mom's a massive sports fan.
Yeah.
Like unbelievable levels. My dad could not care less.
Okay.
My dad likes the 80s Lakers, and that's it.
Okay.
But 4th of July at the 51s game, this was a big deal.
Yeah.
This was like, you're just sitting up there getting that. And of course they do the fireworks because it's baseball, so they'll always have the fireworks show, and it's
it's beautiful. I've been to the Aviators for 4th of July. It's a great idea if you're thinking about it.
Yeah.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, it is. Fireworks night, and they have fireworks night all the time. They do a good amount of fireworks nights, but 4th of July just hits a little different. I mean, there is a lot of fife going on, obviously, for 4th of July, which I feel like fife, like the instrument, the fife.
Oh, there's a lot of fife.
Yeah, fife. The literal fife.
Yeah.
No metaphorical fife.
No, not happening. Metaphorical fife.
No.
Fife, the flute.
Yeah. So if you're into woodwinds.
Yeah. Isn't a fife a metal thing? Or is it wood?
If you're into fifes, I'm not quite sure. I haven't branched out in my musical journey to.
Is it a whistle or is it a flute?
I would say somewhere in between. I feel like it's a little extra because I feel like you could just play the flute.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really know. I wasn't really a part of those conversations in the 1700s when they were like, yo.
No, you weren't?
They were like, yo, we got to get some songs for this country, bro. It's like, dude, hold on. I know this bro that plays the fife, Bernard. He goes crazy.
Bro snaps on the fife.
Bro, unreal.
Unreal.
Be like
the wig he wears, the white wig, powdered wig that he wears as he marches along with that fife. Unbelievable. He dripped out crazy.
He's not like us, let me tell you.
Oh, yo, did you see that how viral Joe Green went for that?
No. Did he go that viral?
Bro, like no jumper, double XL. I mean,
oh my God. That's
DJ
awesome.
plays not like us when the US beats Canada. Drake Can't Escape, the diss record. I was like, oh my God, man. That's the most savagery of all time.
That's awesome. That's like, that's awesome. Like, because I mean, I will say we all in rehearsals, we all were like, damn, he's really going there.
Yes.
And it's just like, I mean, the problem is the song just slaps. Like, even separating it from the whole beef, like the beat in and of itself is just like unreal.
Yeah, it's very good. It's the song of the summer.
Yeah. Which is perhaps the most interesting song in the summer we've had in a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, it's just like, I was like, man, he's really going there.
Yeah, he did. He did.
As a Canadian, I wasn't even mad. Like, I was like,
well, that I think is the reason why it's worked so well, because Drake versus Kendrick is essentially the rap Olympics of Canada versus the US.
Yeah. Kind of, yeah. It's very much like, I would also argue, as much as it is US versus Canada, I also feel like it's a lot of like East Coast and West Coast also, because people in Vancouver do not have the same affinity for Drake as people in Toronto. Like, it's a very different thing. And also Kendrick is like exceptionally West Coast. I feel
exceptionally, yes.
Famously. West Coast. Not that I'm a scholar of the intricacies of hip hop, but it's just, I mean, I knew people were going to be like a little shook when that went down, but I didn't know it got like all the attention that it did.
Yeah, super viral. Crazy.
That's awesome.
Perfect segue into who are your top 3 MCs?
That's tough. I mean, I'm very, first of all, I feel like of all the main musical genres, I'm not as qualified to talk about hip hop as I am other genres. Like I feel like I'm pretty diverse in my genres, but for just MCs, Tupac first and foremost. Like,
Really?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Bro,
That's interesting. Okay.
Why? Why do you say that?
I just don't. I don't know. Tupac. Speaking of like famously West Coast, you know, Tupac is like embodies that.
The
for
most
me.
West Coast.
The most West Coast.
He is the most West of all the coasts.
He's the most West. The mostest Westest.
The mostest Westest. I mean, yeah.
So that people say that about him all the time.
Yeah.
It's a very common description.
Yeah, I'm very much pro West Coast, and I feel like it's interesting. I've always thought of myself like Vegas as being West Coast, even though like we're nowhere near a coast.
Yeah, I think everybody kind of does. Everybody that lives here kind of does. Maybe people from the outside may have input, but I mean, you driving around. I mean, depending on where you are in Vegas, you're going to hear people listening to Nipsey Hussle. You're going to hear them listen to NWA and Dre and Snoop and Pac.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, I'm not out here crip walking on fools, but I just feel like, you know, I'm very like I appreciate the kind of funk influences on West Coast hip hop more than perhaps other regions.
Okay.
There's them. I really like Stormzy from the UK. I don't know if you know who Stormzy is.
No, I don't.
So he's like one of the bigger rappers in the UK who just for some reason hasn't made it over here.
Okay.
I'm not really sure why. Big fan of his work. And for the third one, see, there's a lot of names rattling around. You know what? I'll give you something that may be controversial, but I would consider an MC. Zach De La Rocha from Rage Against the Machine.
That's a very good choice.
I also like MF Doom, but I feel like Zach De La Rocha, like Rage Against the Machine in general, I just really enjoy.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Rage too. I love Rage
and his energy. Like for me,
my favorite guitarist of all time is Tom Morello. 100,
nice.
like hands down.
Yeah, my biggest thing for me in music and anything is like the energy and effort that you give off, whether you're rapping or whatever. And I think it's pretty safe to say that nobody gives off more energy than Rage Against the Machine.
That's a very good way to say that. That's 100% accurate. 100% accurate. There's like that. There's the whole thing is energy. I mean, it's not. You know, I mean, the technicality of what he does as a vocalist is not easy.
Yeah,
and the lyrics are very effortless. I was just listening to a song by Rage the other night and thinking about this. How what he says is very direct, but it's rap.
Yeah.
So like that, that makes it come off as effortless. It sounds like it's just you're just communicating a message. But yeah, as far as energy and effort, I mean they're pretty up there.
Yeah.
In terms of music groups in general.
Yeah, and I mean like, for me that goes in for anything in life. Like people, like if I'm like hanging out with someone, like I just want to see effort and energy towards whatever we're doing. Like, you know what I mean? Like even just like at work or whatever. Just like if you're phoning it in every day, then it's like I'm not really gonna want to spend my time with like hanging out with you.
Right.
Like
and the other thing is that it's important for us all, I think, or it's a big part of our synergy and morale is that everybody cares to be good.
Yeah.
You know, and that involves effort.
Yeah. You know, it's famously goes hand in hand.
Yeah, they do. Famously.
Yeah.
Notorious.
Yeah.
Notorious partners.
Yeah.
Effort and energy. What's up, man?
Yeah.
There's Mike.
Yeah, how's it going?
Mike's walking through. Mike's the C4. If you need the plug for C4, Mike's the plug.
I was wondering because I was like, I was actually thinking about this yesterday when you had the C4, and I was like, man, you know, I don't think I really know anybody that drinks C4. I never really, because I'm not like an energy drink guy. Like for me, it's water, tequila, baby. It's got to be clear. But I don't drink energy drinks, so I don't really know much about it. But C4 is kind of like, I've always pictured it like NOS energy drinks. Like you see it in the vending machines, but you never really, for me, see anybody actually drinking. Like I've never seen anybody other than Vin Diesel drinking NOS energy.
C4 is like is really the energy drink, at least their main product, which is the yellow can. Like it really is not for like, you know, sitting at a desk drinking. It's like you drink it and then you go to the gym. You know?
I see.
So
Need me to grab you one?
No, I'm good. Thank you. I appreciate it.
we're running an ad for C4 here.
Sponsored by C4 Energy.
Sponsored by C4 Energy. Not affiliated with, no affiliation with the Golden Knights or Las Vegas Aces.
Are 3 C's not doing it for you? Well, we got news for you. We got a 4th C.
Yeah. There's a 4th one.
Yeah.
Well, there's that. Anyway, that if we didn't get to the cringe part, that
was it.
Yeah, okay. So now we've achieved both. The Ben 10. That concludes Ben 10.
Sweet.
That concludes that segment.
Yes.
So you also dabble a little bit in photography.
Yeah. I do a lot more of that personally than professionally. Like I'll do engagement photos and wedding shoots here and there, but for the most part it's just like, you know, something I just enjoy doing, like specifically animal photography, pretty much all the types of photography that you can make no money on. Animal photography, landscapes, street a little bit. I don't think I'm that good. I think that's a lot of when it comes to photography. It's like I'll look at my stuff after and I'm like, oh, is it really that great? I don't think so.
I think, yeah, but don't we all do that to everything we do, though? I mean, if you're an artist or a creative, like, you're doing that to yourself constantly. You're saying to yourself, like, you know, maybe you like it in the moment or you like it when you've just edited it, and then you go back and look at it a couple months later or weeks later, and you're like, eh.
Mm-hmm. I think that's what I like about live sports and kind of weddings also in a sort of way. It's like...
You leave it there.
It's like there's no option to, like, go back. Like, you just kind of do it, and then it happened, and then you move on to the next thing. Like, it's just kind of, you know, maybe you screwed it up, maybe you didn't. Hopefully you didn't. But, you know, it's like there's really no point in worrying about it now.
Speaking of which, do you have a nightmare scenario story that you can share?
Yeah.
You do?
I do.
Oh, this is fast. You're the fastest. That's the fastest response I've gotten to this yet.
And you know what? Everybody that works with us, kind of like Devin and Mark, who I hope will be on soon, who I'll watch that thrice.
His right? Podcast. Mark.
Shout out Mark.
Hello.
I talked to him this morning.
Oh, good. He answers your texts.
No, he called me.
Oh. I was about to say, I can't get Mark to answer my texts or anything.
No, see, he's not a text kind of guy.
No.
He's a phone call.
Yeah.
He's a phone call.
I mean, he's from fucking Brooklyn. He's a bit of an older guy, my age.
Is he from Brooklyn? I think he's from Washington Heights or Jackson Heights or something.
Is that true? I swore he said he was from Brooklyn to me, but I
don't know.
That is literally the de facto, like, oh, you're from New York City, you must be from Brooklyn. So maybe I'm now trapped in that.
To be fair, I did just watch In the Heights last week, so perhaps that may be influencing that answer a little bit. But he is perhaps the most New York.
Oh yeah.
Of anybody. Now, you ask that guy about his favorite MCs. I'm sure he could go on and on.
That's a whole that's going to be the whole podcast. Yeah. It's going to be like double the length of every other podcast.
That guy opened for Nas. Did you know that?
What do you mean?
He opened for Nas.
What do you mean Mark opened for Nas? Like as a rapper?
Yeah.
He did?
Yeah.
Are you don't fuck with me. Are you serious?
Dude, I'm 100% serious.
Shut up. Mark?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Dude, Mark is pretty much the coolest person that you could ever imagine.
Yeah, right? I didn't know he's open for Nas. That's crazy.
He almost isn't like a real person.
He isn't a real person.
He's just like, he's
a simulated person. He's not, he doesn't exist really.
One year for Hanukkah, or I guess for him Christmas, I wanna make like an action figure, a Mark Bolton action figure.
Ooh, good idea.
With
get like a custom Funko Pop or something.
With all, but I want his sayings. I want like a list of like 6 sayings in the background.
And like just in little plastic bubbles, you could like stick on top of his hat. So
like, hey yo.
Yeah.
I mean, like, hey, iron sharpens iron.
Yeah, my mic sounds nice. If he comes on here and the first thing he says isn't my mic sounds nice, check one, I'm gonna get up and just
it will be though. There's no
I live
chance.
here, but I'm gonna go home.
You're gonna
to another home.
I will go back to Long Island.
I'm gonna sell this home. I'm gonna go to another home.
Oh my god, yeah. Anyway, what was your question?
I think that. Nightmare scenario.
Oh my god, yeah. So this is I hope that this is the worst thing that happens to me in my career.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it wasn't that bad in the professionally. It was just more so my quality of life for that period of time.
Okay.
So I was working at 51's game. at Cashman, Cashman Field, which
oh right, it used to be a Cashman.
Yeah, which
right.
is
different, a little different. Different
yeah,
neighborhood for sure.
I think that's a very respectful way to put it. It was very different, because the Las Vegas ballpark is new, and Cashman was not new.
No.
I mean, it was new at some point, but not while I was alive.
No.
Anyway, so it was like in July or August, something kind of like that late July, early August, like monsoon season type thing. And word was it could rain, potentially. It could. Which
that gets said a lot. That gets thrown around a lot in Vegas, and you never know. It could.
Yeah.
It could is the best way to say it.
Yeah, it could. It could.
Yeah.
Is there a cloud in the sky? No, but it could.
Yeah.
So, but the word on the street was it could rain. That was like the word around the press box. So we got back then we just had bags. We didn't really have proper like tarps or anything. We just had like garbage bags.
Yeah.
So I was told, if it rains, if it starts to rain, put your bag on your camera, and we're talking about like a JVC 5-year-old kid's birthday handycam.
Okay.
Like this was not.
So at least we're not talking like tens of thousands of dollars of equipment here.
No.
Okay.
I mean, like this was probably purchased at Best Buy.
Okay, fair enough.
With not trying to roast it, the 51s, but like that's what we were working with. Yeah, it worked.
It worked. It did the job.
Yeah, and we shot many a game on those cameras. Anyway, so put the bag on, walk away. I was like, okay, if that happens, we'll do. And we kind of were right past where the netting ended, like down by the dugout. So we're kind of like in this kind of cement area. So anyway, as forecasted by the locals of Las Vegas, started to sprinkle. And I was like, okay, I know what to do. I've been instructed. Put my bag on the camera, walked away. Started raining a little harder. I was like, oh, better get under cover, as one would think. So I went under there, and everyone was like, it was one of those things where everyone's standing under there because it's like pouring.
Yeah.
Now it's like pouring, and it's like, okay, this is going to be, and people were saying before the game, there hasn't been a rain out in like decades.
Really? Okay.
That's what I heard. Is that true? I have no idea.
Yeah.
But that's what everyone was saying while they were huddling to get away from the rain. So it must be true.
That was the hubbub.
Yeah. That as Mark would say, that was the word around the campfire. And I was standing next to the RF operator there, and she said, and she confirmed, she was like, did you put your bag on the camera? I was like, that's the first thing I did. She was like, okay, they're saying on headset to come back up after, you have to wait like 25 minutes or something to declare it a rain out or something.
Okay.
So that happened, went up, and I don't remember who said it. I think maybe it was our boss there, Gary, but he was like, where's your camera, Ben? And I was like, well, you told me to put the bag on and walk away. He's like, no, we need you to bring the camera up. I was like, oh, God. So I look down there. The water is cascading down the stairs of the concourse, going right into the area where my camera is.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, boy, okay. And I was like, okay, can someone come down and help me? Not a hand was raised.
Wow, we hate to see that.
And Devin was there. I will eternally call him out for this.
Just throwing him right under the bus.
100%. He was there, and he was like, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna run back down and do that, because at that time I'm like, I can't lose this job. I'm getting $60 whole a game.
Yeah.
This is big money.
Yeah.
To a young lad such as myself. So I run down there, and dude, my like this, I'm this high in water, like. And I'm trying to hold these cables up so they don't get in the water. And I'm trying to do all this, and I have an umbrella. So I grabbed an umbrella up there, and I'm trying to do all this. I see, and my glasses are totally covered in water, so now it's even harder to see. And I see this figure running towards me. I glance, so I look, and it's this cheerleader, whatever they were called, like essentially the hype squad.
51 girls.
Yeah.
The 51
girls. Yeah, the cosmic whatever. So she comes up and I'm like, wow, this is a strange thing. She's coming to help me.
Serendipitous meeting in the middle of a
Yeah,
rainstorm.
I was like, she must be coming to help me. That's my first thought.
Yeah.
Because I'm the only one there. Like, everyone else is gone or inside. She comes. She tries to take the umbrella out of my hands. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
She looks at me and she says, oh, yeah, I thought you were offering it to me. And I was like, what?
Are you not holding a camera at this point?
Yeah. I'm like, I'm holding 3 things. I got this in one hand. I'm like, I literally have like a cable under each finger. Their fingers are totally pruny. Like 100% prune.
This is a person that's never been told no. That's why she's like,
Yeah.
oh, someone's holding an umbrella. It must be for me.
Yeah. I like, dude, I have a cable under each thing.
Yeah.
Each finger holding the tripod also, like balancing on this chair because my leg is soaked. And I'm like trying to do all this. And she's like, I'm like, no, go. I was like, what are you doing? She's like, oh, okay. And then runs away. I was like, what? I was like,
okay, that's odd. That's odd.
I don't have enough problems. And I was like, finally, I got everything. Came up, and the stuff, I feel like there was like a little bag where you put all this separate stuff in, and I feel like it never quite fit. So that was another challenge in and of itself.
Just getting stuff in the bag.
Yeah, because you also don't want to put a lot of stuff in the bag because the bag's soaked.
Right.
So it's like, do I put this there?
Electronic equipment and water, famously.
Yeah. So
not good bedfellows.
Anyway, so I somehow managed to, I don't know if the stuff worked after that. I never heard that it broke.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I'm like, there's no way.
There's no way.
Like, so I'm like, I'm pretty, let's say I'm pretty upset at this point.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Because you're feeling responsible that maybe this stuff has been damaged or whatever, and that you're feeling like you dropped the ball or whatever.
Yeah. Also, like, I was just doing this outside in the pouring rain. Like, it started out with that being the most annoying part, and then as I was in the rain more and more, it shifted to like, maybe I don't care about this stuff quite as much as I did.
Yeah, I'm just slowly over time.
I'm just more annoyed that I'm sitting there and I look up and I see people watching me in the press box. They're just sitting watching, and I'm like, you. I was like, oh. So I get back up and I'm like, I didn't throw it down, all my stuff down, but I was like,
I was reasonably
I was beyond verklempt. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So I put it down sternly. Let's say
sternly. Okay.
Yeah. And I was like, this is so stupid. And I don't usually get upset at work, but I feel like this is a pretty clear exception.
Yeah.
And I was like, I took out my wallet, totally soaked. That's done. I think I left my phone up there, so my phone was fine. And then I was like, I took my shoes off. I'm like, my shoes are soaked. I was in the water,
Yeah.
And I took my socks off, and I was wringing out my socks onto the carpet in the control room. And it was like properly like coming down. There was not like trickles of water coming out of my socks. It was like a waterfall coming out of my socks.
Fairly savage.
And I was like, this is it.
I'm getting fired.
I'm done. I was like, I'm done.
I'm getting fired or quitting. One of the two.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know which one it is.
Yeah.
I'm never coming back here.
Yeah.
And then I was back the next week, and
yeah.
And here we are. So it's a good thing that I didn't quit, or maybe not. No. No. Yeah. So that was a pretty terrible experience. I wouldn't say I've had too many bad experiences at work, but that's the one that like really
that stands out.
And that's the one that everyone, like other people that we work with, that's the first one they'll tell is that one.
Okay. What would you say the highlight of your career has been so far?
Well, honestly, the One Track Mind podcast pretty ranks very highly up there. It's up there.
Prestigious.
I mean, with me on, I don't want to say numbers will skyrocket.
The Ben Bump?
The Ben Bump. That sounds a little illicit, perhaps. But
yeah.
But I feel like it's interesting because I was low-key cramming for this interview, and I was like watching all the ones before it again to just kind of soak it back in, and I was really thinking like, wow, like I got more nervous watching all these other interviews because I was like, wow, these are like to follow these guys like Devin and Jeff and Court and those kind of guys, it's like, wow, like those are really people and Jacob too. I haven't seen Jacob's yet. But I hope I will. Like those are all people that I really aspire to get to their level. Like I'm like watching like Devin talk about the Super Bowl and like Court and Jeff talk about the Stanley Cup Finals, and I'm sitting here like, wow, well, you know, I did the showcase for for USA Basketball yesterday. Like, you know, I would say honestly,
got to tell you, yesterday was the highlight for me for sure.
It really was
100%.
I really didn't think it was going to be. I mean, I was very excited for it because the Olympics are perhaps by far, I would actually say by far my favorite sporting event.
Yeah.
Like for me, there's nothing that comes close.
Yeah.
So to work, especially USA Basketball and Canada, which my mom's side of the family is Canadian, so it's very much an amazing experience. But the level of like everything at that game, like the media circus for an exhibition game, a game that meant nothing.
Yeah.
Like having President Obama walk right in front of me and like I said hi and then pretended that he waved back. That was a highlight for sure. I mean, like just and it's interesting because I was a utility for that game, which is like maybe in the pantheon of positions at our job, maybe not the most sought after, but it's something that I enjoy, and
me too, honestly.
Especially
support role is just as important, man.
It really is, because especially for that RF camera, because for reference, RF cameras don't usually get utilities,
right.
But I feel like, especially helping, you know, my RF guy out, like, you know, he's walking backwards downstairs with fans all clamoring at him to try to, like, you know, oh, get me on camera. And it's like, that's like a really dangerous position, not only for the company's investment in this, I'm sure, super expensive camera, but also like my friend's life. So, especially in that game, like, there were so many, I mean, it was hard to move for us. Like, it was literally hard to move around, and like, he's getting bumped all the time, and I'm like trying to be his bodyguard, which
you run interference.
Yeah. As you can tell, I'm very physically imposing. So that worked well, especially when everyone that works at, you know, in the NBA, like everyone that works in the NBA is over 6 foot.
Yeah, I mean, I was about to say for some reason. I guess there is a reason.
It's because
it's weird that is the case though. Even like back of house, like office, you know,
no,
like
everybody,
the suits.
Yeah, the suits are all
tall. You know?
Suits are all 6'5".
Yeah,
like, and it's like I'm like breaking my neck to try to talk to these people.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, it was an amazing experience just to like run all around, and because I mean, like when you're RF, as you know, you get your steps in.
Yeah,
like
you are, especially at T-Mobile Arena. Oh my God, that's not easy, man.
Yeah,
that is not an easy gig.
No,
running RF at T-Mobile.
No, but yeah, that game was it was interesting. I felt like the least interesting part of that game was the game itself.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's like all these superstars and the guests and everything that's going on in the crowd, like the fervor in the crowd. You know, like they were just loving being there.
Yeah.
And all of our rehearsal and the hard work that went into that game, you know what I mean? And then it's like the game, and then it's like, yeah, a bunch of these guys are just going to come out and like fuck around, you know, no disrespect to them, of course. But like, yeah, they just, you know, they're just there to play basketball and kick it, really. Like, it's low stakes game, really no stakes game.
Yeah. And I mean, like it was, there were parts that were really good. I just felt like, you know, it's a team that hasn't played together really in any sort of formal competition before. So you could tell that it was a little loose. Got to tighten some things up, but you know, it was just amazing. Like I felt like every time USA went on the fast break, it was like a collective holding of breath. Like what's going to happen?
Yeah.
And luckily, you know, I feel like I just happened to be whichever side we were on, because Court and I were moving around all the time. Whatever side we happened to be on, that's like where the best play from that quarter, whatever, just happened to be.
Yeah.
So it was like pretty convenient to be around there. But Yeah, like the level of star power, like besides the players, I saw pretty much, other than Pat Riley, every significant basketball coach in my lifetime I saw at that game. Like, it was unbelievable, just from a coaching standpoint, like not even getting into the players and whatever. But, and of course, I'm a Heat fan, so I was like Dwayne Wade was like standing in the tunnel that we just happened to be in, and I was like, my God. That's Dwayne Wade.
Yeah, him and Carmelo Anthony sitting behind,
right
like
you.
looking over my shoulder, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's wild.
When they walked in, I'm looking at Dwayne Wade, and I'm like, man, I really had an iPod Nano case with this man on it.
Oh my God, iPod Nano.
Yeah.
Wow.
I had an iPod Nano case with Dwayne Wade on it.
I can feel that in my hands right now.
Yeah.
Thinking about it. Yeah. I can feel it in my hands.
Yeah.
That's how exciting like iPods were. You know?
Dude, I was really thinking about the other day. Like, I would love an iPod, honestly, to just throw it back to that day.
If they had better battery life, though.
Yeah.
Like, if they had, like, decent... Like, now, I feel like now with the current batteries, like, an iPod would last you, like a fucking week on the same battery.
Yeah. They wouldn't have the same quality of music, though, so that's something to consider. Like, because I'm very much a Dolby Atmos listener now, so it's hard to go back.
And that is the problem too. Is you're at the mercy of like whatever compression that the MP3 that you downloaded from LimeWire or whatever, you know, like is like makes it onto your iPod.
Yeah, I've thought about doing the whole like record player thing because they say it sounds better or whatever. But
it's a higher quality. It's a higher quality recreation of the original music because of the dynamics.
Yeah,
it allows preservation of different levels of dynamics. That's really the main difference.
Yeah, and I just feel like with the whole record thing, it's like I feel like for me to want to listen to a record, I would have to invest a good amount of money into like a good record player and good speakers, like to the point where it's better than the speakers that I have right now. Yeah. But it's like I already have the speakers right now.
Right.
And like I love to hear these records in better quality, but also like records are like $40 now. And
they went up, huh?
Yeah.
They sure did. They went up.
The new Beyonce record, $60.
Yeah, wow.
Now, don't.
I didn't say a word.
Don't. I
just said well.
Don't be talking about Queen Bee, okay?
All right, Ben. Well, I got one more thing for you, brother.
Okay.
So, for young people coming up who may want to be a camera operator, may want to run replay for a professional sports team in their city.
Yeah.
What do you say to them?
Laugh at my jokes. That'll really get you far. No. I really think.
Nice, man.
Yeah. I really think that, like I've mentioned throughout this whole 4.5 hour podcast, it's really just a matter of you have to be willing to learn, good at your job, but also bring a fun vibe. Because I've always felt like I can't just do as well as the person that's ahead of me because they're already ahead of me. Like to ascend, I have to do way better. I have to demolish who's ever in my way. Like, not like,
No, I know what you mean.
Kneecap them, but
you gotta kill it. You have to like be noticeably stand out.
Yeah, you have to absolutely kill. You have to, and no one's gonna do that their first time.
No.
So it's really just a matter of doing really well, asking questions, which I've struggled to do a lot when I first came up because you're nervous and whatever. And then also like, I feel like you have to bring a fun vibe. Like you have to be like an energy guy because like that's what I try to do. And honestly, I feel like that's why most people will talk about me, either because they hate me or because they're like, oh, I had to deal with Ben today. No, because like people enjoy being around you. Like people enjoy being around our dear friend Mark. Yeah. Because it's just like, you can't not have fun around Mark. And I like to think that you'll either love your time with me or you may not. But you could. You certainly could enjoy your time with me. And
you could. It could rain.
It could rain, could not rain. But you just that's the thing. You got to be ready for all circumstances. You got to be poised, ready to attack.
Coiled up.
Yeah.
Like a snake ready to strike.
Yeah. And most people probably won't have the attention span to listen through this whole answer. But if you do, this will be the key to success.
Yeah. And then the recording stops right there.
Yeah.
We just end the podcast there.
And the meaning of life is... and we're out of time.
Yeah, we're out of time. Yeah. All right, man. Ben, thank you so much for coming, man. Please share your socials, or if there's anything you're working on that you'd like to share with people.
Yeah, sure. My Instagram is Manischewitz Poppy. I don't remember how to spell that off the top of my head because I don't think anyone remembers how to spell Manischewitz.
There.
But
there somewhere.
Yeah,
so
somewhere.
It'll be in the,
in
the
like
cloud.
and subscribe. If you need any photography or videography work done, Deuces Wild Productions. We will be more than happy to help you out.
The boys.
And if you need a haircut, Rob knows a guy.
I do. Shout out Frank the Man. All right, Ben. Well, that was a very weird way to end it, but thank you so much.
That's how it goes with me. That's how it goes.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah. No worries.
Right. We did it. I think that was pretty good, man.
Yeah. Hey. Listen. It's certainly one of the top 6.